Ladies and gentlemen, I've always opined on this platform that politics is a very interesting game and that politics is also a very dirty game. For the first few days or weeks, the former Kiambu women representative, who is also the current member of parliament for Githunguri, Honorable Gathoni Wamuchomba, has been making headlines in this country. She became the first member of parliament from the mountain to oppose the finance bill. And yesterday, Rigathi Gachagua was in the mountain, and Wamuchomba became the subject during that particular event. Today, he was in Meru. Wamuchomba became the subject again. And for those who follow the politics very closely, the other day, the majority leader in the National Assembly, Honorable the Kikuyu member of parliament, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, attacked Wamuchomba. But Wamuchomba is making certain allegations today. And whatever she's alleging is not news. It's actually something which I've been saying on this particular platform for a very long time now. That William Ruto is actually losing the grip of the mountain. This is what Wamuchomba is alleged to have been saying. That speaking to the Nation newspaper, Wamuchomba stated that things are not working out well for Rigathi Gachagua in the Kenya Kwanza government, and the two have been fighting over power sharing. And then she goes further and alleged that as things stand today, William Ruto is likely to lose more votes in the mountain. In the last general election, Raila Odinga got 1.4 million votes from the mountain. William Ruto swept majority of the votes. But 1.4 million votes for Raila Odinga in the mountain was a big milestone for Raila Odinga. And as things stand today, it is now clear that there is no way William Ruto will increase his voting block from the mountain. He can only reduce them. So in this video, I want us to look at why Wamuchomba believes, and why personally I believe, William Ruto is actually losing the mountain. And maybe because of that, he's likely to be one-term president in the Republic of Kenya. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Before we get into why I personally believe that Wamuchomba is right, and before I give you the reasons why I think Ruto will not really lose, but will lose more votes in the mountain, let me explain to you briefly how William Ruto was able to win the mountain. The first thing he did was to create a class war between the dynasties and the hustlers. And he identified Uhuru Kenyatta as the representative of the dynasties. And then he identified the poor Kikuyus as the hustlers. And it peaked. So that was the first reason. Number two, he also portrayed the mountain as suffering, and because of that, all their sufferings were based on an individual, Uhuru Kenyatta, and the handshake. And of course, you remember the mountain really hates Raila Odinga in quotes. So when Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta entered into the handshake, William Ruto saw an opportunity, and he went there and he sold Raila phobia to the mountain. But things are now changing, because William Ruto is now the president. Rigathi Gachagua is the deputy president. The people who voted for William Ruto in the mountain are still the same. Most of them are still suffering. There's nothing which has really changed in their lives. So the reality is now also coming on them. So because of that, there are several reasons why I personally think that William Ruto will not get the number of support he got. He's going to lose more votes. And the fact that he's going to lose more votes in the mountain probably explains why William Ruto is working so hard to win the support of the Luhya nation and also in Ukambani. I mean, not Ukambani really, but in Luhya nation and in the coastal region. But why do I believe that, just like Wamuchomba believes that Ruto is not going to win overwhelmingly in the mountain the way he did? Number one is the same hustler narrative which I spoke about. I want to ask you, do you think an ordinary Kikuyu who is a hustler, who voted for Ruto and is still in this country today, is it 8 months later, do you think that person can be persuaded by the story of hustler versus dynasty? I don't think so. That's not going to happen. The hustler narrative has been lost. Because the moment William Ruto appointed his cabinet, the hustlers were pushed aside. And the hustlers are now the real hustlers. You are dealing with your own issue as you. And based on the state of economy and other factors, that narrative, nobody will be able to buy it. So that's number one. Number two, why Ruto is going to lose more votes is probably because of the tag that William Ruto is a liar. You know, if you go to Twitter today, Kenyans are actually compiling the promises William Ruto told the people of the mountain, the promises he used to win the support. None of those promises are being fulfilled. For example, William Ruto promised Kenyans that he was going to give them diapers. You know, let me just get it for you. I hope I can get it. Yeah, William Ruto promised that he was going to give, I can't get it. Let me see if I can get it. Now, listen here.
Vijana wengi wataajiriwa kupitia mpango wa kazi mtaani.
Good.
Vijana wote tulikuwa tunaajiri kwa kazi mtaani, sasa tutawaajiri wapande miti.
Okay, tuende kwa miti.
Hiyo kazi ya mtaani. Hakuna kazi ya mtaani tena. Kazi ni hii ya kujenga manyumba hii. Na nimemwambia.
Let me play for you another one. If you go to Twitter,
you will see dollars coming down, the exchange rate coming down in a very phenomenal way. In fact, in my estimation, in the next couple of months, the exchange rate will come below 120. Maybe 115, you never know.
I was actually trying to look for that clip for diapers. I don't know why I can't get it. Where William Ruto actually promised mothers that immediately he comes into office, 3 months, if you give birth, after 3 months, he was going to give them diapers, and for 3 months. You know, that's a promise he made. Nobody is talking about it. So William Ruto is currently being viewed by most Kenyans as liars. And the fact that most of these promises were actually made to the people of the mountain, it means some of them will no longer be persuaded. You saw the other day Mama Mboga coming out. And number three, I also tend to think that this finance bill is also going to finish William Ruto. William Ruto's intention is very clear. He needs the money to deliver on some of the promises. And for him to get the money, William Ruto must tax Kenyans. Of course, a government cannot run without tax. But he's proposing in that finance bill very weird things. And because of those promises, it would be very easy for anybody to come as an opposition to actually dismantle the finance bill. For example, on the issue of housing, which is so dear to him, if you are contributing 2,500 per month, in 1 year, then in 5 years, that would be good money. Then, Azimio will just come that they'll just pick a campaign line that that housing levy, we are going to remove it. And what we'll do is that we're going to refund you your money. Most Kenyans will do that. Most Kenyans. Because the truth of the matter is that within 5 years or 4 years, they have 4 years left now, no house, they will not be able to raise enough money to build those houses. And even if they were to build them, they will not be in a position to actually identify specific individuals for those houses. So it will be very difficult. This finance bill, and of course, it's going to increase the cost of living almost, I don't know, almost 2 times what we are experiencing today. And number 4, in my view, the blame games. You know, William Ruto thrived in blaming Uhuru Kenyatta, blaming Raila, blaming handshake for each and every problem. So these guys voted for him that, okay, you are saying the problem is Raila Odinga, the problem is Uhuru Kenyatta, the problem is the Kenyattas, the Mois. We are kicking all of them out. So all these guys are now out of government, which means they expect Ruto now not to blame anybody. So Ruto will not be able to do 1, 2, 3. And of course, as a government, sometimes you promise things you cannot achieve. Then Kenyans will now put him to task. And when the right time comes, he will not be able to defend himself. He will not be able to apportion now blames to some invisible individuals. And the other reason why Mount Kenya will slip from Ruto's hands is basically the Rigathi Gachagua Musalia Mudavadi factor. There's a very strong feeling, especially in the mountain, that Rigathi Gachagua is just being used for political objectives in the mountain. But William Ruto is busy grooming Musalia Mudavadi, and they give examples which are justifiable. For example, they are saying that Rigathi Gachagua is now being used to try and revive coffee sector, which is good. And right now, Rigathi Gachagua is being used to push members of parliament to vote for finance bill, which is good for them. When that's happening, Mudavadi is all over the country, all over outside the country. Rigathi Gachagua is now coming out as a Kikuyu leader. Musalia Mudavadi is being positioned as a presidential candidate, so that by the time we'll be going towards the election, Kenyans will be able to conclude that, you see, Ruto is actually playing Rigathi Gachagua, and that can affect the politics of the mountain. In fact, Wamuchomba is alleging that there are 2 camps currently in William Ruto's camp. Another camp belonging to Mudavadi and another camp belonging to Rigathi Gachagua. And lastly, the unfulfilled promises. How many promises do you think William Ruto made to the people of the mountain? The Nyamakima traders, their coffee. Can you list some of the promises William Ruto told the people of the mountain? I don't know what you think. That's my take. And thank you guys. May you have a good day. Bye-bye.